Right, first shore fishing rod, trying to get it right. So obviously it's going to be budget dependent. If you're starting out, probably want to go with like a fixed spool. You don't want to be spending too much. You can get something under 50 quid, which will be okay. So not a brand like Sonic or something like that. Various actions, numerous lengths, different colours designed, all different things. There's lots of different brands. It just depends. If you've already sort of been a bit of a fisherman, maybe freshwater, and you're looking to sort of, to go into it, then you're going to have a bit of experience, and you're going to know what sort of brands are sort of going to be okay, and so you could sort of use what you know from that and bring that in, so to speak. So let's just say you've got a budget, and you're looking at maybe a Continental style shore fishing rod. They've been popular now with UKC anglers for about, I'd say, 5-10 years, something like that. They were the history of them is they use them across in Europe, and they've found their way to the shores here. They're mainly quite longish sort of rods, 14 to 15 foot in length, in 3-piece, and used with a fixed spool, so they're quite easy to use, and often with a sort of a special sort of braid for that. I've not used braid too much for beach fishing. I'm old school. I've mainly used sort of 15-pound mono. With the braid, I'm not sure precisely. You can have problems with braid, because from my experience with boat fishing and braid, and just doing bass fishing with braid, so you can get a lot of wind knots and things like that. So you want to make sure you get a special kind of braid to do it, because there's a lot of force and energy goes into a cast when you do an overhead sort of thump, which is what you would likely do with a Continental style rod, especially if you're starting out. Techniques in casting need to be developed, and you need to have lessons really, or someone to sort of teach you a bit. So they're generally used for fishing over clean to mixed ground, for small to medium fish, and not so much tide. So the tips are very sort of flexible and offer good bite detection. These rods generally have sort of through actions, and like I say, a simple overhead sort of style really. So the tips you get with these Continental rods are carbon tips. They're the firmest ones. You can get glass tip ones a bit more flexible, and you can get a hybrid sort of tip with solid glass tip, spigotted and over whipped to finish. So yeah, when you get a reel seat with them, you can get a sort of you can fit a sliding reel seat if you want. So you can adjust the position of where the reel is best suited. Some people like to fish low down near the butt. Some people like it a little bit higher up. It just depends on what you like. Obviously, fixed spool is what they're geared up for. You can get some which are run for multiplier reels. Casting with a multiplier, slightly different kettle of fish. You can get multipliers with magnets on them, help you to stop getting overruns and things like that, depending on what the wind's doing. So the Continental style rods usually rated to sort of 4 ounce to 7 ounce, something like that, and they're very light rods, which is a good attraction. So just to generalise that, really, if you're going for a Continental rod, best suited to sort of clean to mixed ground venues. Not so much tide. Fixed spool reels, light lines, shock leader, light leads with an overhead casting style. Right. So the traditional 2-piece shore rods, if you're going with that. So these were before the Continental rods arrived. They're still pretty much the go-to. A lot of them were sort of developed and designed here. And yeah, a lot of the reels were sort of, a lot of the anglers approached different companies abroad to develop special casting reels, multipliers to go with them. So they were sort of, you know, designed and, you know, hand in hand. You know, the past sort of, you know, 40, 50 years has sort of been an ongoing sort of development. But, you know, the fishing's not what it was, unfortunately, but there's still sort of different rods and reels for different purposes with regards to shore fishing. So yeah, 2-piece rods. You get a butt section. You get a tip section, usually between 12 inches and 12 foot and 14 foot in length. You're looking at 4 ounce to 8 ounce. There's lighter versions and heavier options too, depending on where you fish, whether you're fishing an estuary or whether you're fishing sort of, you know, off rocky headlands and things like that. There's also areas where you could potentially use like a beach rod to fish with something quite large, like a towboat or something like that, because its length would give you an advantage, and all them sort of things. Yeah, I mean, having a rod to suit where you fish is really your local tackle shop is going to stock the gear which is really applicable to the area where you're fishing. You know, and realistically, that's where I mean, a lot of people travel and go and fish, you know, and I've done that, and I found I've got myself in certain sort of areas where I thought the gear I'd got, what I used back home, would be alright, and really it wasn't. It could be the line, it could be the strength, you know, the rod rating, all these sort of things. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is, wherever you decide to fish, pick the mind of your tackle dealer. He'll put you right, and he'll put you on the rod which is going to work for you. What else can I say? So yeah, these traditional 2-piece shore rods, they can be run for multiplier, fixed spool, wide range of applications. So like I say, you know, I've just discussed sort of, you know, selecting a rod that's right for the job is important. Some anglers have lots and lots of these rods, you know, to sort of cope with what they like to do. And then you've got to look at, you know, your capability as you develop. So when you start out, you'll probably just get a rod to fish with. Then as you improve, you know, you might want to spend a lot more money on a rod to, you know, to get sort of a much more distance. And in theory, the old saying was, if you could get a lot of distance, then you catch more fish. But I found over the years that's not the case at all. If you wanted my philosophy on doing well beach fishing, it's just doing the basics well, getting the right good quality bait, and going at the right time. Being a good person at assessing the conditions and timing of the tides and all these sort of things. And another one I say, I know it's a bit of a, you know, tacky way of looking at things, but Facebook is one of my biggest weapons. If I can see fish being caught somewhere, I'm there the next day. That's as simple as that. I know it's, you know, I've had days where I've found the fish myself, but that's how it's, you know, you use every little trick you can to try and give you, you know, to put you on the money, so to speak. So what else can I say? So yeah, casting distance, you're looking at a rod. Approach your tackle dealer, he'll put you right. Well, most of them will anyway. And keep asking questions. You know, yeah, heavier leads, rods which can handle that. There's no point going into too much on sort of, you know, casting capability and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, with a fishing rod, what you're trying to do is get the compression in the rod to propel your lead, so to speak. Yeah, one thing I would say if you're starting out, avoid super powerful models. Stay away from those. Stay away from the tournament sort of casting world. You know, you might as well stand there with a broomstick, broom handle, and just, you know, try and cast. But yeah, you want to really select what I call a fishing rod. If you can, try before you buy, do that. You could contact a local club if there's a fishing club in your area, and the bloke who runs that, just ask him about what sort of fishing rods, and he'd put you right straight away. Or if you're walking along the beach and you see somebody fishing, and most anglers are very friendly, and you can just ask them for advice, and they'll soon give it to you. And yeah, just make sure you're comfortable with your decision, your choice, and there you go. So tight lines.